they're cute.
Bro,
They're cute guys.
cute.
Yeah, my time is protected.
I think that's where I stand with that.
Because I'd be amazed. I'm like, bro, you're 15, you're sleeping for 12 hours?
Stay locked in.
Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da.
What is up, everyone, and welcome to the Locked In podcast. You know, we've been talking a big game. It's been a long time coming.
Long time.
People have been, what's going on? When is Locked In coming out? Is it really happening? You guys aren't serious. Nah. Yeah. Too much talk has been going on, but by the grace of God, His mercies, His faithfulness, His goodness,
Sir.
in color,
Back.
we have something amazing to share with you. So by the grace of God, I get the opportunity to do this with my brothers. So God bless you.
Sir.
Don't leave me hanging. God bless you.
You already know the vibes.
So I just want us to be able to really communicate who we are, our essence, who we are as individuals, and just what we stand for to you guys who are going to be listening to us for God knows however long He wants us to keep doing this for. But we just want to be able to communicate that properly, just so that you know who you're dealing with, you know the people that you're surrounding yourself with or following and just supporting, praying for, all these kinds of things, right? So I'll start off, right? And I'll say that my name is Daniel Bonsu. I'm 26 years old, in my mid-20s.
Close to 30.
In my mid-20s.
Close to 30.
I'm in my mid-20s, not my late 20s, but my
That's right.
mid-20s, unlike some that I have the opportunity to serve as a data analyst within my organization.
Sir, big
in,
money. Big
in
money.
Baltimore. Crazy.
Man.
Though. I do live in Woodbridge, Virginia, so the truck is a bit wild sometimes, but God's given me grace, and I'll follow His leadings as He directs and guides me in those endeavors. But I also get the privilege to serve in my local church. I get the privilege to serve in various capacities in other ministries as well too. But primarily, I do lead, the charge in my capital city district. Shout out to all my leaders, my presbyters, everybody.
Big Dan.
Right now we're looking for some places to stay, so we have to set up and break down, do all that stuff every single week. But by the grace of God, I lead those endeavors and just serve on a few other teams. We'll get to those later on. You'll kind of get to encounter that as we go along the joint. But yeah, guys, that's a bit about myself. I'm currently also a master's student pursuing my MBA. God willing, I'll graduate very, very soon.
Yes, sir.
So just be on the lookout. I'll be posting my Cash App, my Zelle, I'll do all that stuff. You guys sow a seed into my ministry. But yeah, like that's really me. I love the things of God. I love the Lord, and I just want to be able to be a blessing to anyone who I encounter. So I want to hear from my brother Isaac.
What's up, you guys? My name is Isaac. I'm 25 years old. I currently work as a tech support in the IT field. You're learning new things each and every single day in the field. So yeah, that's been good so far as our career is concerned. When it comes to church ministry, I also attend the capital city church. On several teams and all of that. God has been super faithful in that aspect. It's a great church. We've been kind of like groomed and raised in the ministry, and we all see the fruits of the ministry.
For sure.
For sure. Yeah, that's kind of all of it about me. I also live in the DMV. By God's grace, whenever you come visit, come say what's up to us.
Are you single?
I'll pass it over to you. Know what?
Slow down. You can slow down. We'll save that for another episode. For another episode.
Take it.
So, I will do my brother.
Oh, you want me to go?
Yeah, I'm talking it to you, bro.
Okay,
And the
cool.
business.
Talk to
Honestly, we all go to the same church. So I think the church. I think the church thing. We all go to the same church. We all serve in different capacities, including myself. My name is Michael. I am 28 years old. Dang. I just turned 28 by the grace of God in June. I'm DMV based. My current occupation is in consulting. So I don't want to necessarily say that there's a specific niche, because if you are in consulting, you know that you're kind of widespread. There's a lot of skill sets and stuff like that you pick up on along the way and stuff like that. So I do work in analytics right now, but there's other things that I also managerial skill sets, just a lot of things, honestly, that I do in the consulting field. I'm currently also a master's student, getting my master's in business administration as well.
Jesus.
So, I'm trying to level up with just a little bit. I think that's pretty much it, right? Is there anything I'm missing? Cool. I'll pass it on to you, man of God.
After my humble, lovely leaders introduce himself, but how y'all doing, fellas? My name is Elton. As for my age, I am at the age that Jesus was when he started his ministry. I'm gonna let you
Early
figure that out.
30s.
But don't do that, bro. As for my career, I just finally broke the door into
Come on,
cybersecurity analyst.
Come on.
Super happy for that too as well. And like my Deacon Mike said, we all serve in the same church, different capacities. I happen to serve to myself as a leader, help out wherever the Lord takes me. And I mean, I'm a business owner. I do have a clothing brand. This gospel thing too as well. And I'm a creative. I just love to create too.
Yeah.
And as for now, that's all you need to know. God bless you guys.
We'll get into deeper things as we progress. So you guys, please stay tuned, follow us, and just make sure you stay committed to the vision. Like, we are locked in, and we are here to stay locked in. So be on the lookout for that. But for this very intro episode, we wanted to talk about a topic that's very, very, very pertinent in our lives, just because of the fact that, like, as you heard from everyone else, like, there's so many different things that we're involved in, but the average naked eye will probably be like, yo, like, how do y'all make time for that? What do you like? You have a lot going on. And I also just want to read this one statistic, right? It says that, did you know that studies show that nearly 70% of millennial men report feeling overwhelmed weekly by the tension of work, family, and personal expectations? Wow. And that's just that. There's no mention of spiritual life in there. There's no mention of ministry in there. So to the average Joe unbeliever just walking on the street, and they feel overwhelmed by life. Imagine that times 1,000, having to be burdened with the demands of ministry, souls at that, right? And when you think about it in that kind of context, it just gets a bit deeper, and it becomes a bit convoluted at that point, right? But I kind of want us to intro by talking about this, right? Just to break the ice a little bit. I don't know if it's really an icebreaker because it's kind of deep and personal, but whatever. But it says that, what's something in your life, or talk about, or just reflect on the fact of something in your life that has been feeling like pressure? And just kind of to give you guys an idea of it, I'll just kind of start off, right? For me, right, in my life, the thing is that I feel personally that has felt, sounded like, or even been characterized as pressure is just the demand of school, the demand of work, the demand of family, and the demand of ministry. And I say that because of the fact that oftentimes you can be in positions where you don't really think about the fact that if you fail in one aspect, it's highly likely that you'll fail in the others. And I feel like for me, like I was just taking like 4 classes in one term in a span of 8 weeks. I'm leading efforts for 3 different churches regarding the infrastructural setup and breakdown and all that kind of stuff, while also having to be there as a son, as a brother, as an uncle to a nephew that's even on the spectrum and stuff like that. So it's a lot of different things that I have to be able to make time for, and oftentimes who to say no to, who to be like, yes, I can do this, I can do that, without necessarily having to feel that pressure of like, yo, like, this is what I have to do, so I shouldn't feel bad about it. Then that's been like the main thing in my life personally that I really feel like has been pressuring all those different areas, all at the same time, like concurrently fighting for my time and attention while making sure I don't drop the ball in any. And that to me has almost kind of led me to have this kind of savior complex in a way, because it's like I feel like I have to deliver, I have to produce. If I don't, who will? And there's moments where I've like, and I'm definitely recovering in that area, so having delegating and doing all these things, building systems and structures, but I still see traces of it. So for me, that's what I'll talk about in terms of things that made my life feel like pressure. But Elton, what do you think about that?
If I'm honest with you, I can relate to what you said too, and I think for me that's it for me too as well. The pressure of having to show up for other people, even when I myself, I don't have nothing to show for. And sometimes, like you said, as family, you have to 100% be with family, work, church as well too as well. So these things pull you to the extent where sometimes you don't even have time for yourself. And I think for me, I had a retrospect one night where I asked myself like, wait, the last time I checked the cross, I'm not the one on the cross. So I didn't die for these people. So unfortunately, I cannot save everybody. And when you're used to be a yes person, it's hard because it's in your nature. But something I'm slowly learning is just that it's okay to say no and to be content with your no. Because you get to a point, people tend to just abuse your yes, that they feel like you're entitled to you. And I guess I'm truly trying to get to that point where, Father, I have not died for these people, so I will only give as much as I have.
I guess with me personally, when it comes to, I guess, something that's like pressing on my heart or something that I tend to, think about a lot, I would say it's the future for me. Because I'll be honest, I know where like I'm coming from. I know like where I've arrived at, and I know where I'm going to, if that makes sense. I just go like into my life just a little bit. I was born in Ghana. I lived in Ghana just for a little bit, just for people that don't know. But I think living in Ghana gives you this perspective on life where like you've seen like the bad side of life, and now you're introduced to like a better part of life, and you want to make sure that you make use of all the resources and all the opportunities that are presented you. So there are days where I sit back and I'm like, am I really making use of like the opportunities and like the luxury that I have being in this space? And it beats me a lot. It's really like, at times I sit down and I kind of like deep it, and I want to kind of like drop everything just to like be in pursuit of like, I want to make sure that I make it. I want to make sure that I do this. I want to make sure I do this. You know? And obviously like family also, like I find myself like, I'm the guy. My dad, and then it's me. And I want to make sure that if my dad is not there, everything is kind of like, like coming back to me. And I need to make sure that things are in place in a way where like if dad is not there, you can take over and make sure things are running smoothly. So I think about the future a lot. And I mean, at the end of the day, I always take solace in the fact that my delight is truly like in the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Like I truly find peace and like solace in the fact that everything is going to be okay. And I'm content about that fact. It's not always like that. There are days where like, I'll go to sleep and then I'll wake up and then we move type stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of it for me. Mike, I'll toss it to you, bro.
Honestly, I feel like everybody kind of summed up my like own experience. As you guys were talking, it was kind of hard to even like pinpoint one area, because I just feel like in this age, kind of like we're all kind of like around the same age, kind of around the same like stage in life as well too. I just feel like this is a lot of things that, like Daniel said, are taking our time, and sometimes it's like, is it the right time to put time into this thing, right? And I think for me, like my biggest, I guess, pressure point is like making sure that like, do I really need to do this thing in this season? Because we're not octopuses. We don't have 8 hands to be doing 8 billion things at the same time, as much as we would want to do so. And then like Daniel said, the savior complex, you feel like if you're not a part of this thing, it's going to fall off. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of these things that have been handed to us has been God given. So who are we to say that this thing will fall off when it wasn't even us that, was handed it to? God handed it to us, right? So I think me is just really identifying where I need to be, what I need to give my time and energy to, and then identifying the things that I could just drop for some time, you know what I'm saying? And then I'm knowing that God can, allow for this thing to continue on without me type of thing too. And I also say, full transparency, like I'm dating, by the grace of God.
Jesus.
So and I definitely want to say that one of like the biggest pressure points for me is just like making sure that like, dang, like, do I feel like I'm going to be that man, that husband, that father based upon like, what I'm doing now? Sometimes I feel like, man, I'm not doing enough to prepare or to be the man, the father that I know God has designed me to be for this woman. Whoa. And, like that's something that like takes a lot of prayer. And not to rap a lot, I've really been just praying on the fact that like, God, make me the man that I know you have designed for me to be. As much as I may feel like I'm not that man right now, I need to lead. That's so my dependency on God has definitely like switched a lot, especially in this season. So
but based on what you were just saying, you mentioned the fact that like you have to take time to make sure that you're prioritizing certain things, maybe you drop certain things, add more time to certain things. Cool. But like for you, what criteria do you use to measure that? How do you know that, hey, like with this ministry or with this particular task or project that is going on in my life, I have to drop this and pursue this instead? Like, what's your criteria?
I'll be 100% honest. I don't really have one, to be honest. It's just prayer and just hoping that God will give me the answer of what needs to actually be dropped. Like, I feel like when you even brought this topic up, like obviously we discussed a little bit before this, but we haven't heard the questions, right? But when I was like kind of pondering on this topic, to be like 100% transparent, I'm still trying to figure out, like, honestly, when it comes to identifying what needs to be dropped, identifying, like, okay, how can I delegate? Like, all these things that encompass, like, burnout, myself, I don't have all the answers, to be honest. I'm young, I'm still figuring it out. You know what I'm saying? God has given me a lot of opportunities, but even in it, like, I'm really still trying to, like, understand, like, the best way to navigate that which he gives me stewardship over. So, to be frank, it's just prayer for me. Like, God, please show me, like, what needs to be put away. And then, you know what I'm saying, show me what I actually need to be putting my full attention to. And I think that most of the times, like, he makes it very clear to me what things I actually need to be putting my full attention to. So, yeah. But lastly, I'll say, Charlie, we got to work. We got to get money. So, like, number one, if you ain't doing that and you putting your attention to other things, then I think it's very practical. Like, you know what I'm saying, this needs to be dropped off, because if I'm not doing this, then I cannot fend for myself. And then for somebody,
shouldn't we focus on preaching the gospel first, though?
No, I mean, real life, yes, but practically, like, we live in a society that, like,
but life is more spiritual than physical.
I know where you're going with this thing, but I think there's definitely a balance between
exactly.
honestly, like, like, Charlie, you live in a world, God to give you two hands. He didn't give you two hands just for prayer. He gave you two hands to work. Like, that's literally the authority that he gave Adam. Adam, he told, like, you have dominion over all the, you know, all the fish of the sea, all the birds of the air and stuff like that. He told Adam work, but he also told Adam depend on him as well too. So I think there's a balance in which God has designed us to be workers and to also be dependent on him spiritually as well too. So,
and work doesn't negate the gospel.
It doesn't.
They go hand in hand. Yeah.
So Elton, you own a business right now. I know that, you know, you're also a district executive when it comes down to the church and all the different endeavors that we do as a ministry. You do a lot, and obviously, due to the proximity that you have with leadership and stuff like that, there's going to be things that are entrusted to you that will easily bite into probably your professional work, will easily bite into maybe some responsibilities you even have for your family. But for you, like, how do you make that cutoff? Because I think that it's so easy for people to find themselves drowning, and I think that it's so hard for people to actually acknowledge that and also communicate that without seeming like they're weak, or they have like, or like, oh bro, it's not that deep. You can easily just do it. Just make some 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and just do this. Because like, oftentimes people try to project their expectations of what is feasible for another person, and those expectations oftentimes cause people to crash out. So like, for you, how do you say no properly? How do you say, this is what I need to do and nothing else matters?
I've just come to a realization of having that kingdom mindset, because when you study a kingdom person, man, he moves in accordance to the purpose of God concerning his life to you as well. And I think for me, I really had to mature in it. You start from a point where, like, you know, you're a yes person. You really want to please everybody else. Then once you grow into your niche and you understand what you're called to do, then you begin to weed out things that you feel like it's not taking you where you ought to go to. Because you can only look forward, you cannot look sideways most of the time. And I think for me, once I got the realization of the things that God wanted to do in my life, who God has called me to sit under, to serve underneath, it was easy for me to know what to say no to, and also focus on what I have to give my yes to as well. And I think once I began to prioritize some certain things, it was easy for me to say no. Because early on, because I really want to please everybody, I really want to be on, you know, everybody's good side, to make sure, oh, they have something good to say about me. It was easy for me to just give out myself. But once you really mature, you understand that that's not what life is all about, bro. Because if everybody likes you, then something is wrong. Yeah, if literally everybody likes you, something is wrong. Because even scripture talks about it. Like, you know, if you're liked by everybody, then something is wrong. And I had to literally grow my mindset with that I don't have to be liked by everybody. I just need a few people to like me and to appreciate me, and then I can just move on with my life. And I think once I did that, I was able to structure my time a bit more wisely. I was able to give myself to the things to which I actually wanted to do.
It's actually in Exodus, and this is this story of Moses and with his father-in-law Jethro. And it says in Exodus 18 verse 17, it says, "Then Jethro said, 'You are not doing it the right way. You will wear yourself out and these people as well. This is too much for you to do alone. Now let me give you some good advice, and God will be with you. It is right for you to represent the people before God and bring their disputes to him.'" So pretty much in this story, Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, was telling him that you need to start delegating. And I think that, like, as you were speaking, like, what dropped in my spirit was that, like, a good way to is a good way to be able to handle burnout is to making sure
Definitely.
that you have the right wise counsel around you,
That's right.
and actually like speaking out when you feeling like it's getting too much. It goes a long way, because there's people, obviously, like we have a pastor, we have a presider, and we have pretty good relationships with them, and they've actually like done this thing way before us. So there's things that they've already identified before we even got to that point that they can actually help us to be able to navigate. So it's very important, I think, that from this context,
That's facts.
identifying or being around the right people to help you navigate. Because the thing is, a lot of these issues that we're dealing with, they've dealt with already. You know what I'm saying? So they know that, like, yo, this, if you're going down this path, you are going to burn out. You're not going to be as effective as you think you will be, right? So like, I think it's very important to make sure that wise counsel and you're seeking out when you get to those points when you feel like it's too much.
But I think an interesting thing with that that text when Moses and Jethro are dialoguing and whatnot, right? One of the things that was kind of communicated in that passage was the fact is that Moses should choose, obviously, men of wisdom, people who are, mature and stuff like that, who can then go on and be judges over other people, and then those judges over other people and stuff like that, right? But I think the challenge in that situation becomes like, what if I don't feel like I have anyone who can properly do what I need to be done?
Easy answer is life will teach you, bro. Not, if I'm honest, but life as a teacher, bro, life will teach you that you have to rely on other people as well and depend on other people. You weren't meant to leave life alone.
But then,
you can start by yourself, but essentially you will realize that if I want to go forward with this, I will need people.
And also to like just jump in, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you good.
I feel like if you don't do it, somebody won't be able to do it well. So it's kind of like, it's rooted in pride.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
come on.
You get like, if you're doing the work, if God called you to, in that space where like, you're doing this, you're doing that, at the end of the day, if you're not in that space doing it, somebody can before you can. And that person, I guess, like left the space vacant for you to come take over. So if the person has left and you are entrusted with the role and you are able to do it the way that you do need to do it, when it gets to the time where you need to go for somebody to come take over, that person that's coming over, just trust and believe that they will be able to execute and do the work the way that you were, even probably way better than you were able to do. So it's just, I think, and that saying in itself is just rooted in pride. Just trust in the fact that you were called to come do what you were doing. After you're done, you're going to move on, and then the next person will come and take over from doing the work itself too. So that's a good word.
you guys feel like you've had like practical experience in that kind of space? You know what I'm saying? Actually, like, okay, I want to make sure that my time is protected. I don't have to be stressing out about A, B, C, or D, right? Like, you guys feel like you've had practical examples in your life where you've actually been able to sit down, delegate, and hand off to people so that you don't burn out, essentially.
What about you?
I feel like I'm still like, it's still kind of like building type of thing, or it's still getting fleshed out. So obviously, like, for those that don't know, YouGlow, this is what free advertising and stuff like that. Great ministry, now turning into a prayer camp. So people of all ages,
Jesus.
I'm saying, please find yourself here.
Sign up.
We have a high school discipleship club organization at a school in Virginia, and I had the honor and privilege, by the grace of God, of being the program director, helping start it up from the ground up. And I think that in its first year, because I was so passionate about it, I was trying to do everything. And then I felt like everybody was so busy that I didn't, you just feel like, man, everybody's too busy, and like you don't want to even put things in people's hands. I think it's something subconsciously that we do because, again, we just want kind of like to do everything because we feel like nobody else is going to be capable because we came up with the idea type of thing. So like I had to learn very quick that like I could not do it my own. Like in short, like I could not do them. It was getting too much, like having to. Yeah, it was a lot. It's a lot. I don't want to really go into the detail, to the key of it or whatever, but I think that, I just had to learn very quickly that in order for this thing that God started to continue, I need help, to be honest. And I started to kind of delegate other things to people, and now by the grace of God, we've kind of built some better system to continue to move forward and where God wants to go. So I had to learn very quickly, because if not, I don't know, I think it would have definitely I think it definitely would have gone to the ground. So
Do you feel like that was taking a toll on you in any way? Mentally, emotionally, anything?
Yeah, for sure. I think it was even like hindering my own devotion fellowship, because the more you put your focus into one thing, you're going to lose attention and focus on something else. And that's the source of doing ministry, your own quiet time. And if you don't have that time, then any other time you're just going to feel drained, to be honest, because God is the source and we draw from him. If we're not drawing from him, what we think we're doing outside, we're actually doing from like actually having nothing inside of us, right? So I think that it's very important to make sure that you are spending time with God before even doing these things. And if it's taking away that time, then what are you actually doing it for?
You're mentioning the fact that pretty much, I mean, I think that primarily is just the definition of burnout right there in your own words, right? So I guess for me, right, and obviously to the viewers who are going to be listening, one thing I would really want to know, or just for us to explore a bit, is that what truly are those signs? You talked about people being drained, right? But how does that take shape? How does that look like in terms of, okay, like A, B, C, and D is going on. I feel drained. How does that look like, A? And 2, what are the repercussions of that? How does that look like? And what are the repercussions of it? Like, if there's like a signboard that says burnout and there's like a list of different items, what are you going to see on that list to identify this is burnout?
I guess I'll speak to that. I would say signs of burnout is just like physical, like fatigue. Like if somebody is burnt out, you could see based off of like how they look physically. Like they're walking and they're sleeping. I mean, they're talking, they're sleeping. They're even in speech, they aren't able to just like construct like words like properly. And I think that's like at least for me, that's like the first evidence of like somebody that's burning out. I'll give an example. Like Mike said, every year we host camp, Uglo camp. Once again, our shameless plug, pull up. But whenever our camp is held, what happens is work is delegated for every single one to kind of like do. But I think it was this one camp where like I was assigned to do something. Like we had to go grab stuff from the storage, take it to the campsite, do all of that, and there was just like a whole lot of moving parts to it. But after camp was done, I could feel that I've done so much. Obviously not by my strength, by the strength of God, but I had done so much that the next day I had to go to work, right? And I felt like I was capable of like just like, we just finished camp, I'm about to just go to work. But right after work, I could feel that physically, like the weight of the world was like on my shoulder, bro. Like I was extremely tired. I went to sleep, woke up the next day, I was sick. So that's signs of fatigue. If you're going, the body is not curated to like keep going. At some point, it's gonna shut down. So just make that time to sleep. Me, my way to recuperate, I'm gonna sleep, bro. I'm gonna turn off my phone, put it on glory. Disturb. The world is gonna move on. I'm gonna come back and things are going to be fine. So just like having that mindset that we're going to be okay. Everyone is going to be. Mom is going to be fine. Dad is going to be fine. Your boys are going to be fine. Your girlfriend is going to be fine. Your wife is going to be fine. Your pastor is going to be fine.
The world will be fine.
Your elder is going to be fine. We're all going.
The world is going to be fine.
Okay.
That's good.
So you're touching on that more so. Okay, the physical side of how that looks like. Cool. So you feel like they're walking while they're sleeping, essentially, all that kind of thing. What else do we see?
I think there's a there's a disconnect, there's a dichotomy, right? When you have that burnout, especially, I'm going to talk from the spiritual context, between you and God, because like I think Michael alluded to this, is that there's no connection with you and God anymore, and because we are gifted human beings, God has given us a gift that He doesn't repent from. Right? It is easy for me to give you or to serve you out of my gift, and not from the source, which is the Spirit of God itself. And I can recycle things. And mind you, I can even be wilding out. I can do some crazy things, but because I'm burned out, I have to show up. I have to do it. I just come with whatever I have. I'm gifted. I can sing good. You won't see the difference. You won't see that there's a difference in me.
That's good.
And I feel like that's what burnout does, is that it removes, it separates you from God to the point where you think God knows you. He doesn't know all of you, but you're operating and you're gifting, and people will think that, oh my God, Deacon is still anointed. And for me, that's it for me. When the intimate moment that I had with God, those moments where nobody knew me, nobody were aware of me, but now that people call me left and right, and I don't have time for them anymore because I'm doing X, Y, and Z, and that closeness is not there anymore. And usually when I feel those moments, I know it's time for me to retreat. I know a retreat is needed.
And I think one thing I've noticed personally is this: there's a level of indifference that you walk around with when you're just burnt out. It's like you're over it, bro. I remember back in 2022, it was around May, June time. I went to a graduation in Atlanta. One of my sisters, she had graduated from school and whatnot, and I went out there for that. You know, we have to always make sure that when we travel, we communicate with our leaders where we're going and what we're going to do. But inside it's cool. Let's not worry about that. But we always have to make sure we communicate those details, right? Like I had mentioned before, I lead prior to us having other places, other assemblies that we have to manage and stuff like that. I'm primarily in charge of just making sure that the setup and the breakdown for our place is taken, managed, and whatever. I don't I don't think I communicated, or if I did, maybe I didn't do it as formally as I ought to have done. And I think during that season of my life, obviously, I think I obviously just started working, and just I just feel like there was even though on paper I'm not doing nearly as much as I'm doing now back then, but it just felt like a lot back then.
Wow.
And sometimes that also just kind of goes, that's probably a different topic all in itself. Like the seasons that you're in, there's like a different like level of grace that's really dispensed out to you to be able to function at certain capacities at different seasons, right? But I think that during that time, everything just felt like a lot, man. And it's just like I felt that it was also influencing my ability to make time for the word, make time for prayer, make time for meaningful fellowship that can always really reel me in. I remember my persona elder, he had called me at that time he was just the elder, but he had called me. He was like, "Oh, like, so what was going on today and stuff like that?" I wonder, because I guess in my absence, I think there wasn't any suitable replacement to be able to make sure the stuff got done. And mind you, these days, this is when we were back at the District Architecture Center by the Capital One Arena. So those days, there was no, I mean, by the grace of God, we kept everything there, but there was no real manpower like that. We were very small. So one of the things that I had mentioned, he had mentioned to me, so like, what happened, what went on and stuff like that. And I felt like I was just blown a little bit. I don't know if it was the tone, if it was something. I was just blown a little bit. I think in that situation, I was like, oh, it's just stacking chairs. Bro, I said that. I said that. And then the quickness by which he checked me, it was like, bro, what did you just say? Oh shoot. Yeah, but like the quickness by which he had checked me, it was like, is it? And then he was just kind of confronting the mindset and the perspective I had about the thing. Because what I said revealed a level of indifference I had towards the work of God that I was currently stewarding at that point in time. And I think that kind of just, I was blown by him correcting me. But of course, like, you're gonna be blown. But nevertheless, I sat there and I thought about it. I was just like, I was tripping. I was tripping for saying that. And it's just one of those moments where it's like you just get out of character a little bit, and then you sip some juice and you back to your life. You know what I'm saying? You just handle your business. So I think that even in that moment, burnout in me showed up as indifference to the work that God has given me to steward over. For sure. And I think that correction was really like, okay, there's a reason as to why I'm tripping the way I am right now, and I need to get back to that place so that the well will begin to flow.
That's good.
Wow. I like that.
Yeah, so that's one of the signs that I've seen from you.
Yeah.
Any others?
I just lack of joy, to be honest. When we serve, when we do the things of God, we should have a joy. Like David says, like, I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of the Lord. Like, anytime you're doing something from God, there's no reason why you should have any other emotion than joy, because that's one of the fruits of the Spirit.
Come on.
So it's important that when you realize you've gotten to that point, you lost that like joy, that like gladness to serve in God's house. And God's house is not just the four walls of the church. It's anywhere you go. So you meet somebody in the grocery store and you see them, I don't know, wilding out, somebody making out at aisle 9 or something like that, and you just get upset. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that it's just important to realize, like, why are you getting mad and stuff like that? Like, this is an opportunity for me to share the gospel with somebody, so I should be overjoyed that now somebody's going to have an opportunity to find Jesus the same way I did. So I think once you get to that point, it's like, okay, now you got to check yourself. Why am I actually mad? Why am I actually upset? Just like kind of Daniel was saying. Like, I think burnout is really, like, you'll see it when, like, it's even hard to reflect on why you're doing things, So I think that, for me, that's something that came to mind. And
I think that also, like, just kind of bringing what we're saying together, I think the biggest thing is the fact that obviously the ways that we recover from instances like that, you're talking about obviously physical rest, right? You guys are mentioning, like, obviously getting back to that place of fellowship with the Lord, really allowing him to really pour into you and stuff like that. And I just want to emphasize the scripture in Matthew 11:28 going. It says, "Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Come to me is a command, right? And when you look at it, right, Jesus is always offering that invitation to rest, but it's whether or not we want to come to him and receive from that rest. I think about in 1 Peter where it talks about cast your burdens on him, for he cares for you. When we talk about casting a burden onto somebody, it's not just Cass is dead.
Like, toss that
Cass is literally throwing the thing.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, right, putting yourself in a position where the things that are burdening you, the things that you're struggling with, the things that you have acknowledged that it has become too heavy for you to carry, has become too deep of a load for you to really stomach. Those are the things you really have to throw to God. And that's in deep, honest, sincere prayer. Sorry for throwing that at you. Oh, I'm sorry. I have to cast my kids. But like deep, sincere, like reflection of God, I need help with this, or else like you might not know what might happen to you, right?
Sure.
So I think that those moments, those instances, I always kind of draw my mind back to the fact is that that's why I have to be like dead honest when I'm talking to God. It's like, listen, I know that by the grace of God, you're giving me A, B, and C to steward over and to make sure that I'm managing this and being responsible to my other obligations in my life right now. But God, there's no way I can physically do this if not for your grace. I can't do it. I just can't. And if I try to, I'll fail. And I'll end up making things worse than it was before I even really got deep into the things. So like all those are oftentimes the things I think about, where it's just like, if I'm trying to really bounce back from that place of burnout, God, here, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm struggling with. And this is the case right now. I'm bringing all these before you because I trust and believe in the fact that whatever I feel like is too heavy is like a feather to you, even less than that, an atom, a molecule, whatever.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying? So like these are the things that I think about that just help me to really recenter myself and really draw me back to that place of Psalms chapter 1. We all know this, right? And it talks about, blessed is the man who walks down the counsel of God, nor stands in the path of sinners, going down. Look at verse 3. It says, he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water that brings forth fruit in its season, whose leaf also shall not wither, and whatever he does shall prosper. I think the thing is that being planted is key, right? And being planted, we're talking about the source, right? If you are a tree that is planted by streams of living water, you are always constantly receiving nutrients, because plants, trees, they get the nutrients in the roots.
Yeah.
When the water is coming through, the roots is the one that's receiving it and disseminating that nutrients upwards, right? So when we're seeing these kinds of things, right, it helps me to acknowledge the fact is that being planted and being rooted is what would protect you in seasons of exhaustion, in seasons where things are heavy, because a tree will be there in winter, spring, summer, and fall. Yes, the leaves may wither at that time, right? Obviously, if you just look at the natural state of the seasons and at that time and stuff like that, but the tree's not going to get cut down. The tree is not going to get cut down, right? And it says it shall bring forth fruit in its season. So that as long as the tree is planted and the water is continuing to flow, because the waters is planted by rivers of water, as long as the water is flowing, when it's time for that thing to bear the fruit, it'll do it.
That's good. That's good.
You know, so whether or not it's been an issue of, oh man, I'm going through A, B, C, or D, just remain planted. Stay rooted.
It's very important. What came to mind? It's gonna be for the next episode. A lot of times when you feel burnt out, it's so easy for the devil to get access for you to fall into temptation. Like, I won't talk too much because it's a spoiler.
That's for next.
Just make sure that you're really like assessing your life in terms of like if you feel like you're too tired. Because to be honest, man, sometimes you get too tired, certain things into the mind. It's just like, Charlie, like how did it get there? But that's for the next episode for sure. So make sure you tune in.
But fellas, quick question though. This is off topic. This is locked in, right? Speaking on burnouts, because I do feel like in our generation, the word burnout can be misused. Because you have
that's good.
you have youngins doing the bare minimum, talking about something burned out.
Yeah.
When I grew up, I saw my mom
I need to
go to work, cook, clean. Like she was doing a lot, and she never said anything about burnout. So I do feel like there's this frail mindset that these young kids are growing with, thinking that, oh my God, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but they're barely doing anything, and in the name of burnout. And I feel like we are slowly growing in this weak generation where we feel like we're entitled to a lot, but we're not willing to put in the work.
I need a sabbatical.
But before you get into that, I'll play advocate a little bit and present this perspective, right? Dude, are we calling it weak because of the fact that, because mind you, the generation you're referencing, if you're talking about our mothers and stuff like that, they're not a part of this Western culture that we're talking about. the soft life culture, the mental health culture. I mean, please, we're talking about mental health, so let's not assume that we're talking down on it. The generation that will really prioritize mental wellness, because that's still important.
That's true. That's crucial. That's a fact.
But do you feel like in this situation there's like a bit of a cultural context there? Like maybe I don't have to carry 2 gallons of water on my head 2 miles to school. Like, so obviously maybe life may not look like that, but we have our own challenges that may present itself in different ways or something like that. What do you feel about that?
I completely agree with you, but I also do feel like there's a need to build a mindset of resistance in a way. Because if you ask me, in as much as I had moments where I was burnt out, right, but I do feel like I was able to build a mindset of an overcomer. Like I can do this now. Like I don't have to constantly just push things away. I understand that there's a pressure that comes with what I'm about to do, but I'm willing to face that challenge. Yeah. And I do feel like these young cats, like they're quick to push anything that is hard. They're just quick to push it away, not knowing that every challenge that you embrace, there's something new about yourself that you discover. And I really want to hear from you guys. Or like, do you guys feel like there's a balance in terms of burnout where, in as much as you had that experience, Isaac, where you had to stretch yourself, right? But do you feel like that experience in itself too has given you a mindset where like now you can be able to handle like even bigger tasks than what you have done in the past?
I mean, I guess I'll touch on what's it called, the culture or like the age gap aspect of what you talked about. Our parents might have done things a certain way, and maybe the older generation might look at the younger generation and be like, when I was young, I was doing this, I was doing that.
Maybe they were working harder in that sport.
Exactly. Like I was doing this, I was putting my hands to work. And in our generation, like let's say you're in IT, all you do is just sit in front of the laptop, type and make money, right? And they look at you and they're like what you're doing is not equal to like what we used to do. But then again, like it's two different generations, and you're being effective in what you're doing based off of like what you've been presented with in your generation, and their generation too, they did that. So I just felt like there just needs to be an understanding in that aspect. I'll touch on the whole like being like stressed out and all of that. One thing about me, like I feel like if the work needs to get done, get the work done. You know what I'm saying? Get the work done, but not to take away from the fact that you will get tired. It's okay to accept the fact that I am tired, but not to get to the point where like you're burning yourself out. It's okay. We're humans. We get tired. But when you get tired, don't just toss the task like to the side. True. You know, return back to it and actually like get it done. So
What you gotta say about this?
I mean, I agree, honestly, wholeheartedly with what Isaac was saying. I think that there's a difference between utter laziness and actually like you're just not capable of doing so many things at the same time. So I think that, again, like to Isaac's point, like different generations, like our parents hauling water from their house all the way to, I don't know, UST, you know what I'm saying? It could be the same way as a college kid, you know, just going through nursing school, having to do all these clinicals. Like just because one looks a little bit more like controlled than the other doesn't make one like more harder to like achieve than the other one. So I think to your point, like, yes, there are people in the generation that want the easy way out of everything. They want things done very fast, you know what I'm saying? Fast track life stuff like Daniel was saying. But there are people that, you know, they know their niche and they're just going to do what they think they have the capability of doing. And that's fine as well too. So I think that's where I stand with that.
Because I'd be amazed. I'm like, bro, you're 15, you're sleeping for 12 hours? What's going on, bro? Like, you gotta be like, your early 20s, you're sleeping for like,
that's true.
I think I guess I'll tap into that. To some extent, bro. I'm not generalizing this, but it's just a lack of vision. If you get what I'm saying, a lack of like purpose. Like if you're sleeping for 12 hours, you know what I'm saying? 12 hours is crazy.
But life is hard.
Any person that has something to do in life, or any person that feels the responsibility to get to a certain point in life, wouldn't exhaust that much time just like sleeping. If you have something like plastered on your eyeballs that you want to like achieve, you're not going to just like exhaust that much time in sleeping. You're going to sleep, but in getting to sleep, just make sure that you know, like, I need to get to something. And to bring it to like the space, or like in the confines of like just like manhood. Like, you're a man.
That's facts, bro.
You're to it.
That's
If
facts.
no one is gonna come save you.
That's
Your
facts.
God, obviously you have family, but at the end of the day, like handle your business. If you need help, be vulnerable
Yeah.
enough to ask for help. So
Let's be real. Life will teach you if
I
you
will.
don't to actually take this step.
facts.
I know a lot of people from my high school, like, you know, younger days where they kind of were living kind of this life that you were describing. And like, when you look at their life, not to judge anybody and stuff like that, but like when you look at today, they have a lot of regrets of not taking the opportunity, the chances that, you know, were made available to them there's a lot of things that I wish I jumped on when I was younger, but
For the regrets.
you know, you see what I'm saying? So just imagine those people that you're describing that don't have the willingness and drive. When you get older, like, all you're gonna see is bills, bro, to be honest. And then you're gonna be left up to do all those things by yourself. So if you don't figure out it now, you're gonna have to figure out it later. So
then when we talk about, you're talking about like people doing, like they're not even doing the bare minimum. They want to take a break.
screaming for burnout.
Like, what do we consider to be bare minimum, right? Let's bring it towards like more of a ministry context, right? What do we, obviously it'll look different based upon what degree of ministry you are serving in and what lane you are in currently, right? But give me an example of what it feels like for what you see to be someone who's doing the absolute bare minimum, but yet they're calling for a sabbatical or for rest.
Oof. I mean, it's probably going to be subjective.
No, just give me an example. Yeah.
Because for me, say for example, right, you come in and you let us know that I want to grow, but it's hard to demand something and you want it on your own terms. Yeah, it's super hard. And so if you come, for example, you're serving in one team, right, and you see that there's a need on another team, you know, to for an extra hand, I will expect for you to just volunteer yourself here and there. I'm not saying go full throttle, but like just volunteer yourself, just allow yourself, because in as much as we cry for burnouts, right, I do believe that built in us, right, there is a capacity to go a little bit more.
Yeah,
a little bit more. And I do feel like I don't just want us to scream burnout when we feel like we have reached our max, not knowing that there's still more in us that we can be able to.
that's good. Wow. I think for me it'd be like just come out on time. I think that like a lot of
that.
things, just these small like things that we do naturally because we work 9 to 5s, but then when it comes to service to God, it's like we don't remember these things. So I think like coming on time, and also like actually like you can tell who's doing the work outside of church before they get to church. And I say that because like for instance, like somebody like, you know, some of our very well endowed men of God that are helping us out, Drew and Prince, you know, you could tell that like before they've gotten to where they've gotten to, they were doing this joint like way before. It didn't take anybody like forcing them. They wanted it so bad, and now we're tasting the fruits of it here and in service as well too. So like those people, they're down each other up behind the scenes. But I think there's certain people that they say they want to be a better singer, they say they want to be a better videographer, but what are you actually doing outside of the four walls of church to show that you actually want more than the bare minimum? So yeah.
That's good, bro.
Because I guess the issue that I'm really trying to reconcile in my mind is the fact that like maybe for certain ministries, or like for me, like when I look at, sometimes at the end of the day, God has given everybody different measures of grace. I believe that.
That's true.
I do believe that. But kind of like what you're saying about people wanting to grow, but they want to do it on their own terms, I feel as if, even if we're looking at it in the ministry context, there are certain things that it's so easy to see the need and to see how God can maybe build something in you by you attaching yourself to that need to do something about it. But I feel like it's so easy for people to turn a blind eye to it. Mind you, I think people are going to be entirely convinced in the viewers probably that I'm being extremely biased right now, and maybe I could be. I absolutely could be. So take every single thing I'm saying with a grain of salt. Be like the Berean church, search the scriptures to see what I'm saying is in there. I feel as if
Go there.
the work that we do at church, let's just leave it with when it comes down to the fact that we are a pop-up church, a mobile church. Even the Son of Man, he had no place to lay his head.
That's it.
He didn't have a place to lay his head. Right now, we don't have a place to lay our head as a church, right? But there is a need and a demand for them. Me, I see those. But like I said, everybody has a lane, a ministry, and a measure of grace that they are able to begin to display. But certain things you can just tell that in the indifference, like we mentioned, that people are walking around with. You see God.
Yeah, just let it.
Should I just say
Slow,
the thing?
slow.
Should I just say the thing?
That son of man set free
I'll
screen.
say the thing. I can see the big, strong, tall guys. They're cute.
Bro,
They're cute guys.
Cute.
Acting cute, as my other grand would say. Don't trying to be too cute. Strong. The 6-pack, the muscles.
Boy, this guy's set up.
Holy
Try-
Ghost.
slow.
Try to go and pick up the chair and move it there, bro.
But do you know why?
Why?
They don't want to be inconvenienced, bro.
They don't want to
Like-
sweat.
We like to be comfortable, look nice, stay there, remain there. Nobody wants to be inconvenienced. Not knowing that as Christians, as followers of Christ, you have to.
And it just kind of brings me back. And like I said, like I'll re-emphasize this point because I don't want anyone to ever feel like, oh, like, but who said we have to do that? And you don't have to do that. Do what God is calling you to do, point being, period. Don't let any man tell you that you need to do something that is not aligned with the will and purposes of God for your life. But I look at it from the context by which we're looking at it, in the sense that like somebody is going to be inconvenienced no matter what we do. And kind of like what Mike is saying about the time. You waking up at bro, don't you think some of us would like to get to church by 10:30? But then we have to wake up at 5, 6 just to get, listen. and like I said, by no means is this any prideful talk. We're just speaking the realities here, right? Because at the end of the day, we are forfeiting a generation that we will reach with the gospel if we are not going to be comfortable with inconveniencing ourselves. Because no matter what you do, Christ was quote unquote inconvenienced if you look at it by human standards. He said he didn't consider equality with God as a thing to be grasped. He was up there in heaven, minding his own business. If they have virgin drinks in heaven, I'm sure he was sipping one. I don't know.
Jesus.
Maybe he has something he was enjoying up there. I don't know, bro. Enjoying the worship of the angels 24/7. But he said, nah, I'll come down here and let men spit on me for the sake of giving you a shot to come and meet my Father.
That's good.
I sit there and I think about that. I'm like, yo, there is something more that you can do in order to be the bridge for someone to come and encounter God.
That's good.
But we just prefer to sit there and chill and be cute.
Demure.
So I guess in saying
Talk to me.
I guess in saying that it looks like you're pinpointing a set.
I asked for an example. I provided an example.
I feel like the example that you gave, I feel like it's towards like a set group of people. But just to say that, what if this person, this man, these cute fully bearded,
I didn't mention any beard.
I love
muscular man that you're talking about. These guys that you're talking about, what if they feel like, you know what? Maybe holding signs is my calling. You know what I'm saying? Or like, what's it called? Maybe reading people is my calling. Maybe what's it called? The other stuff that you may deem as like light work, right? Is like what they feel like they need to do. In that case, I guess, how do you like what's it called?
I know where you're going.
Yeah. Look, so how do you like, I guess, push that responsibility of, oh, maybe you need to come help us like lift tables here and
I'll say this. I'll preface it by saying that first, I don't think anything in the house of God is light work.
Right.
I believe that wholeheartedly. Because like I said, everyone has a measure of grace. Everyone has a lane that they're in that is contributing to the kingdom going forward.
Yeah.
So I don't see anything as light work. But what I do see is the fact is that even with the, like, Tyler, you can hold a sign and be spiritual. You can do that. But even with the holding of signs, you're doing it haphazardly. Like you're just doing it anyway. Like the quote unquote, by human standards, the light work that you're doing, you're not even doing that with your whole heart.
Right.
It's good.
So why shouldn't I look at you and be like, you're not even doing that with your whole heart? Listen, one thing I believe wholeheartedly, and I think just anyone that knows me understands how much I value the importance of community and reaching out to people who are maybe marginalized or don't have that opportunity to really speak for themselves, right? If you are in any kind of capacity where you are required to meet people, speak to them, like for example, like I said, I believe in the division of a welcome team in any church, right? I do believe that if every believer did their job, would there be a function necessary for that? Maybe not. However, one thing I do believe entirely is that, like, even in those spaces, if you are in that and you have no desire to pick up the phone and call someone to be like, hey, how are you? Are you doing okay? This, that, and the third, or whatnot. Then what?
That's a good point.
But then I guess that just goes to like kind of pretty much sum up all that we're talking about. The more you draw from the source, the more you'll be willing to demonstrate and exemplify that character in every space of your life. Right now, we're speaking about a ministry context, but even when it comes down to our professional careers, you are planted and rooted by rivers of living water. That water is flowing through you, and now you get to be a blessing to your coworkers, and that your work ethic is shining forth. The way that you speak to people is not demeaning or that corporate jargon that they use to try to be shady or do that thing they be doing. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe you'll be able to show more love and compassion towards your family. And these are areas that we're all still growing in. By no means are we claiming perfection, but we are striving to get there.
That's facts.
Right? So I think about these things and I'm like, if truly it is God that's leading us, it has to show in some way. And this will show in how we treat the things of God, how we enable ourselves to balance the things we have going on in our lives and the attitudes that we have towards it.
One thing I want to drop. I think about the point that you brought up like this. If all of us traveled on the same day, the team that you're referring to, which will remain nameless, how would the work get done type of thing? I think that it's important to identify that us functioning as a church is us functioning together. Nobody's role is above the next person. We're all meant to help each other out. So like, if that, if a certain team was gone, are you gonna sit there and just allow for the things that they are responsible for not to get completed?
That's a good point.
You know what I'm saying?
I just so it's like when the time comes for you to call, when the time comes and you're called upon to kind of like fill in a role, are you willing to just like step out of like what you're accustomed to doing?
Comfortability.
Nobody's role is above each other. We're all functioning as one
Yep.
unit, one body, as the Bible talks about. Yeah, so that's one thing that came to mind.
Good point.
Truthfully speaking, I feel like we might need a part two and three. But I feel like for the next time we meet, I think what you were mentioning earlier about some of the repercussions of the burnout. I think we're gonna have to look at that. That's all the temptations you was talking about.
Well,
You have to talk about that. I think
no holding back.
we actually have to talk about that thing. We do. So truth be told, I think for us to kind of just wrap up this conversation and just kind of put a pin in it for the meantime is that for us to really be able to manage the demand on our lives, we have to go back to the person who's enabling us to even receive the demand in the first place. Being planted, being rooted. It doesn't mean just being busy, but it means being in a place that is stable, ready to constantly receive that nutrients needed to produce fruit in its season. Right? And I think that that's going to be crucial for us as young men and to everybody who's going to be looking, watching, and just consuming this content, that wherever you find yourself planted and rooted in, there's going to be a lot of different things that can come about as you're serving, as you are in your career, as you are in whatever sphere you find yourself. But nevertheless, for you to be able to fight off the anxiety, fight off the fear, the depression, and like I said, we'll probably get into these things a bit deeper in a future episode, but to be able to properly manage all these things, being planted and rooted, and two, being willing to always cast your burdens unto the Lord, because truly He cares for you and He wants to help you.
That's it.
So guys, listen, I'm excited for Locked In. I'm excited for what God has in store. And truth be told, for you guys who are watching, please stay connected with us. Like, follow, comment, subscribe, sow seed if you feel like this. Come on, do whatever you feel like to do.
Be led.
Truthfully speaking, on behalf of me and my brothers, we just want you to stay locked in. And again, shout out to our producers. Powered by Firm Images, powered by G Vision.
That's for the unknown weddings. Come on. That's a wrap. Yes, sir.
Good job, fellas. Like this now. Like this. Smooth. That was smooth, though.